do one a try to assuade Abramo, my penny not a go for the Kase, if I work with Chikakra.
Some no address pa na kuobia wonum switch them say frɛ wonum OR Foundation the comrade of the films at Roma Santru Muntu mra no ayese ya be share tia ne ade ne dia ha ombonyo so ebe ha o mani sikase munti betimi a yenwene ho biem
National Entrepreneurship and Innovative Program Omosuni kwofofobia kabum na mabunu bia nya so mfa so pa no so yedi nchiremu ebeba
na NPP sungogro kwa manyokuo no yanyantie se upiem ewo fomena abato mpeso ya ne so a ani amarebo chiremu se ya sempapa na yesi amanyokuo ni mabi ye yiwo no madi ya ne sa
na so am run about so ani anya sam ketua adwadifo bi HSS city gas atete ne ne bia ekoso no ebusiafo anya sam ketua ene yasia ha ni nyina yedi nchiremu ebeba
ma yeni esi ana senteta padia ahodo no oyeprefemola.com I promise femola.com tini no aye oyeprefe ebeko Facebook on oyepa radio sanso na YouTube aye oyepa FM adwenchire manu akwaba brepam ya de be fragase enu atwim samo moama na yetede amao social distance ambassador of Atafrem pon ni metin me ne nuapani
krobia sante ensem no eni
ye dimirika kwa kopiem ewo anyinam ye no wo oboase na ye giram wo anyinase potam wo no anase anyinam oboase potam wo no ansem ni nkiremu no etiawa posi adwumaku opani ya woda posifu ano ewo oboase potam ASP dwamna kenten ana wo kiremu se ensem ayete ye na nunti ye pusu apenkiremu no eye no kuretrodo na ne sai ye nya ne ntia se abamu abi awoko nto asosuku ye kire so chesi bi ya wadi mfrinshi dungochi 18 years na woko nsanom woni na momomfo ekowi akire akwa dani wu ane sai na ntiere kiremu se wonum koko pie mu wonsanom bia bia ne ne akwasi broni fra no pap ni bie no ana atokwa ni bi sore ye ono ne dom ya woni wonum ko nsanom ane na afo bia wonu so ba nsanom no ntia kwaye akuo mienu ana akasakasa sore wonum tem ane se kowi akire na yade ade awo no ama wato ananom e wonsia do no na ASP dwamna kenten chere ensem no chirim se no kuretrodo sabrega sei Elias Fuseni ya wadi mfrinchia dunwoche na no ye eso chesini no wonkati asefo ho sabre namu no wonum ede akwa akoto ya sabia ye jaye papa ahwede wo mu Ghana de se de wa wonim no nipa no ono afadro no onum kura no ese be kwa akọ de kunu nti sa pe na ekoso na ese wonum ani abrenso anhwehwe mu bra na ekoso a woni a wadi sa ewuei no ye pe wonum achi wonum
nti ye pa anadwono mrantie ne mabawa ni bebre ko ho omo kwakwajo omuni edusa omo koye fan ho enti anadenu omo guso omo edi agro esane ade na bobe no mienu 2 o'clock am ana entokwasi ekomienu tem nanche no bia woni ganga wo enti yene utwe utoyi the gang any other group and another groups be 3 and 4 and then to kwa esi wo muntem we bo binim baby a obi ko fa that there and answer sikan and na yemia korea ye kan was Elias 18 years sikano bi ekekan ikikan kan nti and an nsa bonkum ni fa ni feneret no hona sikane kaya abranti monitor from yes anafu bia adwane enti omudwane ye ne sai ade mfiase no pomo rashi na idanki ni esone na omudo bama fu ni ne adwane free ho timoda efon ho ana obi bebo ni papa mane omo bebo ni papa na mane no kra ni papa ne tie he ya tutuka he ya tombo bona mane osori ya ofani ntime fra ya okọ na chese abranti no ewuda na omo fa ne de ni befi om de befi anopa be no nu ne fa kubu be no nsia no omo ma police nso ya situ ya ni ko ibe ma ye ko hwe body ni ewuchie ho na edwada no fie holiday nti ye se de ye fa no komochi na ye ko pe be de fa ne nti na de echi na ye nya doctor abusani de ntiase no omo ni ye nya dwe atachi ntiase ye edwuma ne fa na ye de no ko mochi ade echi ebrada no e koye postmortem ni ade na na ye really see body ni de ma abusani se on between akonomo akwakosie mu na sabi ya menu ka say de nya ubi a che nkofo mai information here nipa no bebree a yɛnya ɔmo information no yɛte sɛ ɔmo bi bebree yɛdwane nti yɛhwɛ yɛgu sɛ bebree biara no yɛsa bɛka ɔmo di sɛ adwuma no yɛde ɔmo aba kamera no yɛgyina kwanya wei so na matu amanfoɔ sɛ wo a wo ba ɛfiri adwada na bɛpem na wahu sɛ akbi anaa wapira anaa biribi wɔ no ho akyerɛ sɛ wapira no moma no yi aso
yo nti na boase posi adwumakuo no wonum fifare ne wonum chichemu potamo onum de woda wonum ano ASP Jamana Kenten ana yate ne nka wode nsem ni kyeremu ama ya se Independence Day na no kwasi ada no anwumre ana Elias Fuseni ene ne dom ekosanom ewo paab wonum a akowie ne wuo no
yada so butum wo boase ne mpatamu a new baako ya de nso ebro no baako aduru boase a ewodi pa je fans ho no mo amanebo no eche se abantie bi a ye frɛ no Isaac Redu onfi aduanan miensa galamse bi kura no waye woto no boase afa se kan no ana busuafo nipa nan wo mu yim twitwa wono mu se pasa na maame baako di mu titi makro ndi wo prepare no woden maame mere atado do na se davi mere meka se wonde odaso dad mi hen da so piti wo se judu a Dr. Foguso ejina so tenten wo he so betumi agye kra enkwa foforo be se me se ka no de chese nyankrompa adom wom nya ehu eya de kokofa wo ye nei de eba ye ne de ene ye wo pani gasu jude ya tutom ekopie mu ewo emergency unit ewo RCPT bi chese judu a oje bre ne wo repaka CD nkomo se no kan fa
no me nipa 4 no me na out of nipa 4 no na nipa mienu na practice pa no hia immediate care na was say show mun tempa mami ni abrante ba ko kan mami de ono ne de ne nsa no na we pra na e was say intempa ye ni nsisi no sokra because na muje tun kese pa efifie ansa na oba bedu ha one abrante ba ko kan mami ni na aka ne de no conditions no we say no e trauma de nso na ne de na serious ya mo ba na e bisa o anu asan kakana na sekan nti yenzi ejuma mu ne se de ne insanity no yehu se sekan na de ye de twa ne kese sa ya nipa nan ni nyina no na sekan na ye de etwa sia de me insana aka ne de ye o mu kofi ba mami de ono de ye mane da ha enam se na sekan se de twa ne na ekum kese ntino edin kan de nsu sisi ne so ansa ne yema ne ndum ti ahwe no ene de ne ho ye pa
oberiga sujuda mote ne nka no na ni nyina mu no ma me mere ata we prepare no odin wo mfia aduosia ba akwie a sabere o te se opani ni kase yi ne nsa se hunu no e de na kosam tudwa ne yesi ma me na e de ba de port na kofa ase bi ba no wo se o eye efuom na gova enkora bire mi ese ogwa adua bi a esi fifi o ba bi ene se abamu an ya fa se ka kotwa ato atwene ye e no mo koka anwa asem a asa betwitwa o mo sa awufie no ntu otwadua no asa twitwa nipa
bre no mu se me ye dwan kono waka tam ne nkwala no mu se otwitwa guava no me so mo gya no otwitwa guava no nyame na wo twitwa me nti mo gya no enti e na me fra me baba ma no se o mo bla na o mo hwe se na o mo behwe se bebi guava no na hye e wo mu no se woni die no mu a ti nkwala mo ni da no pa mo ban o ma mba ne ntakwa nti o mo ban na o mo kɔ no na mo se blaze guava ya de nti na wo twitwa na o se woni na edua ni mango na wo no nyina wo no ne so wo plot wo na wo bedua eyi wo plot nti nkwala no ba na tawul na sinase nti awona na owura dem asana akɔhye ni kasa na wɔde sikan ahyem nti anka wɔde ba wo we ni yem na me pia we nti na we ni de ne saa no na wɔde gi sikan no na emba so na me nso ni mba so no nti me so mba no amba ɔno kɔ ni nti ɔda no ho na ɔde sikan no bia me saa me nya ne hwe na ɔde sikan no aye me says ene ni asam ni fie ni me fie me de kan kɔ hɔ no na me ni light ɔno na me hwe light na ne ho so na me sense nti nyama ni start ye no kan anya hwe me dabodabo na yirai ana me de ade bomu area mo konkon se de ode bia o chichi me dabodabo no wonjai
abjafo eno no na chese namdua so na o mahun soro dabodabo achicha chire na jama mi koka se o chichi ndu onya no ena Isaac atimi adi saa bonefo semu a sa kotwa goverdua yi achiri eno no na enkwada no ene yebisa o se na mo maame edi chechimu na ma ya nya bia sa pepe ene tie no mse abawu sa ene tie
It's true, but I think na ye ne target say nko de sekan ni be woni yemu
nti oto sekan no mechi ba ne huiye eko nechi nti ode ne nsa no eye epegya ne nsa ne sei senko de boss sekan no na ode wowo no ne ho no odi twa ne ho ne 3 odi twa no nti me hwe de we say twa me mada na o bleed no na me koyi atare ofie se me de chechere nti me chechere no na oto sekan senkwase afo mmoa nti oye ne sa no na etwa me
enam bia we hu na ema problem ni na ere e bai enrichi ena oledi de friend say Isaac egwa be na de si e kitchen echi no e bai I dey try that working and when dey you know say na me dey try and am say o duty no so dey utwa egwa ba no say egwa be na dey si na asase only dey egwa ba no am say no so na wo dey egwa ba na aka obi dey na asase so if so wo asase ni misumi dey dey eni na dey na obi dey egwa be dey o mata nti egwa be na dey nya odi anti from ndey dey ko no menye dey me fa kan ye dey enke egwa be na dey ebiem obi gina hyen so sase kan dey hyen butuntu du ho na na otwe sekan no otwe sekan odi si mi nua boy na dey so and I warn about me to one me side come yes and me soon and to second 10 years no could you me and I'm here the side boy mommy no so they why they will tell my mama I plus serious
ani pari bi wakokodro pa busuafo ntie oboase nkomo nu ba ku ya den ebusu ade ma mo no na DSP Martin Asenso oboase mansi no police commander ne ase obani Asenso na no da du be de kura no akiri no kame se be nsem ni bu ho no mo ayete tifiro boase no enye de sa na wo kan se no se ampa omo ho a na amanebo e ba ye se de akoso ni nti ono so police pani o patem mo nchichiri mo de ma ye ni
oba no babo ya mane se wonne papa bi bo awo konkani site na ne ma me dua gwaba 3 ewo na branch ne kutwa gwaba no afre omunua mo ye nan no nyina yo ka ma mo no mo ekoye so gubisa branch no de ntia mo dua gwaba na wotwa tokran ne kura de ajaisi ye afense Ghana ye nua na odua bie na otwa to mo ko fi ho no omunya ye pipam a we fie ni ti a hye no so pe ane dua no isie ye nyini kama na ngodu ho no mo busa abrante no na bufuo e bae ti bi wan se o so oba owura dem se na kofa se be se kai ahye pense atare himu na o de bae kiki se se ka no ni nua ba ko a odikai o da wo no na chi ya konensa esro no o wo no fan stop one be premier sa nua no e kwaje no so de be ya so ewu no pese okunu se di no a odana ko nua no so ne sa ten no afi de ma membro no o tim na je na me mai na fe de abranti touche mami ho mami fe mere ata na hwe mami wanyini 61 year old woman na abranti hu nipa mbo de sika na hwe mami ne nsa enya de ketwa ye ba sa no na ba kwa waka yo ba mami ne baba nso waka ho na fe de moja plan mami no na so o yini ntima so de chichire iprekuru no Jude omfiri ho ana omoba police station omedu police station pe no na branch no so aba police station abetro ama police se ma bibi ne ma ato kansa di ne pamro ye hwe no se ye dika achi no ye hwehwemu na ya cost record so onfa dipanoma ye fa remand no na ye mpe hospital bi psychiatric hospital ne mfa no ko ne san ko hwe na dwurum enhwe se nie o ye no ke bai and emranti mi nukura na confrontation ba na bibisa ba sabi mekatika enye wawa na mum nipa nan na ode to trasem ode ahodi mu na wa ye sa nye mransem no na se ye criminal procedure case no na se hwe psychological so enebene na dwun so se hwe no so
sabi o wasa kwa de mo hwe na dwun kakra se de DSP Martin na senso e ka no oboase mansi ni police commander na wa wie nipa ni sei na be ka so medi umpa bra and you just say na beti no re pa 7 FM ya kwanim kasebom
yan fan free awurukasem ni mu na afei yan fanwura tumi ni amamu nkasemu ana mampani na dankwa kufu adobo adado dombrofo adudu de du free SHS papa adu de show boy ya kasai owo Dubai said ye nyina enim no wonum sa Dubai expo no ekoso ma wonum dankase ya wi ase amansa nyina no ne Dania ya tenten pa kwasi bromba kasa the tallest building in the world ya Burj Khalifa wombo modern de wo manga na ya senso de ne ya franka no kodese no ahofesu di dwura homa ne ya fefefe ne ade ne yasi ompanifo mu ko yomu ja ho ma no hwe pa na wana kwantuo no emu no enra ana se ne biako ni Supreme Court nso de ne ginasie baaye na ni nyina ya dawre ne apotwen ya ekoso efa brase odwafie mu ache ame hina bedi akire wonum tumi a wonum wo se wonum to aba ebra brase odwafie si gina ya na se wonum to aba na se de enim no brase odwafie mu chi ame hina no ankasa de wanya brase bedwani ende brase odwafo na to aba eyi nipa o maye wonum ache ame hina wonum asetram ti ono no outside parliament na tidifo no de wonum ye do first and second deputy no wonum ye no nyina no ayembrahye bedwafo ana yatu wonum so aba na ene ja dibra no ye de amakora no kura no ye de masa so na kokoba ne sa nipa no oye brahye bedwani na wojira ne manfo anamu no na ekokoduru se ye to aba ne bia chamene na nkasa ni wonu wote adwamu a na akwakoye bibi oho na nsentem yewura aba be ne ni wonu a yewura jo wise se wobeto aba ne bi wa emrase odwani wobeto ama na abato mbesua fom na abato mbesua so bra na wote adwamu o hwe akire de ama yewura aba be no emu nsem ye bebre na ka ho ma enkunya twetwe ne ade kokoso o mrase odwafie mu buru wo mu ho kakra no a saa asemi ana ekokopie mu Supreme Court obi ante ase na wotabiri ye se amamra konsu ha momoden no nkirem se mrase odwafie mu achame na abedi akire wonu mienu no wo mu ya mrase odwafo de na enso so mu kokotena akonya so achiame hina na ye to aba omu okwanya so omu to aba na se omu ni kwanya ne no na nura ukuada Supreme Court di atemu ba ya kire se kwasi Bloomberg say unanimous decision wonu nyina ko benkrum ya wo mkiremu se ye pefe brase odwafie mu achiame hina bedi akire no omu mienu obi a wotumi se so wote akonyanum se brase odwafie mu achiame hina hwe akire na ko ba se to aba otumi so oto aba friso emrase odwani ensemi beto ye ndc fo ene anko no mute na mampani na danko akufo ado Dubai wakasa dia fa ho na woni ye nua cha stati buadu ya woni daily guide krata na edidwuma ne bon komo fa ho na mampani se amamra konsu ha no wo hwe na kwa wo ha mienu ni wo ha ne nan as ago 102 and 104 no a ekirem pefe so bi ayemrase odwafie mu achame na bedi akira o so otiminya kwanya to aba frisa wa emrase odwani no se mpo wo ko badwa ye assembly sa do no a womu atiame hina na se woni yetena dwamu presiding members wonum to aba enti we no na kinye bia eni ho.
Firstly, the noise that was generated on this at the time, I was extremely surprised because as far as I can see it, and I think the Supreme Court has confirmed it, the matters involved in this thing are open and shut. They're black and white. There can be no dispute about the issues that the gentleman took to the Supreme Court. It is there for anybody who wants to see. In Articles 102, Articles 104 of the Constitution makes it absolutely clear in black and white that the deputy speakers, I'm not speaking of the speaker, I mean the deputy speakers, when they're presiding, have the right to participate in the vote of the Parliament. The whole structure of the Constitution, and indeed, and I believe that being part of the reasoning of the court, all the legislatures of the world, where the presiding person is a member of the legislature, like our deputy speakers are, like the Speaker of the House of Representatives in the United States, or the President pro tem of the Senate in the United States, or the Speaker of the British Parliament. All of those have the right to speak because they are members of the Assembly. Our Speaker is expressly not a member of the Assembly. That's why he doesn't have the right to vote. That is not the case with the deputy speakers. And that matter is transparent on the face of our Constitution. Indeed, even the presiding member of our district assemblies, they have the right to vote. Look at the district assembly law, because they are members of the Assembly. And once you are a member of the Assembly, you're representing certain constituencies. If you are denied the right to vote, it will mean it is tantamount to denying the right of the people you represent to have a say in the decision of the Assembly. That would not be right.
Enti mampani na dan kwa kufado simple presiding members wa assemblies. Womu ka assembly ni hu enti womu ye assembly members no. Womu kwa womu to aba. Nti obi baba deputy speaker of parliament or ye parliamentarian brashe bedwani ansa no wobenya sa tumi so obehwe akire se acha me hina bedi akire a okwanya samra se odwafiem ye to aba wotimi to bie na mampani si wono nsem bi atise no mfiduduo ne no na adwen se nka wonka ho bibia asensem efa mamra konsu ya ho ne Supreme Court sem ne nsem adenkum atede saa no wabɔ no mmɔden asɛ nsɛm bi atititi saa no nkanya adeɛ sɛ wɔno wɔde na no kora ɛbɛtuma na wɔbɛka bie.
As a rule, I've made it a point since I became president, as much as possible, not to comment on constitutional issues in the country. I think people who are students of our constitutional law, our constitutional jurisprudence, are very much aware of the role that I played when I was a barrister in helping define some of its basic principles of interpretation. And I think that now I become president, if every time there's a constitutional matter I'm heard to pronounce on it, it will give the impression that I'm setting myself up as what, some sort of rival Supreme Court. And I've been very reluctant to do that for that reason. The body that the Constitution has set up to be responsible for declaring the meaning of the Constitution, interpreting and enforcing it, is a Supreme Court. And as a matter of good governance, it's better that that body, which has been given this exclusive power, is the one that is heard on constitutional issues. And that's the reason why I've not been open or vocal on constitutional.
Mampani no, or Chirasa, Obedi Mampani, why not doing say? Amamra nsem ne ade no onfana no ntutu mfiri se woni a edi mra achie no ahumre bia atwam ni modi obo ye se mra ne benya munti ase ne ade nti se ene wanya se de bre no ode no be for ana akwa so no a wo si no ho afidie nti ana nsem bia te sa won tamfra no ntum
mampani asamba kwa no wo si dua pa ene se achame hene no mabedi akira a wo mra hye bedwamu no se ekokoba ye to aba no betimi atu bi ene Supreme Court wade atumu no eno ne nyade a ebetimi atwintwa sa se ne adwuma no ana mu eche se si yɛ aban no kra no ni nkura bata ba mi ense enim se ɛwɔ man yi mu no anokorɛ na hye badwafo ɛde mra ne hyehyɛ ɛna ɛyɛ adwuma ne da hɔ nsusu pefe ɛne ɔka brɔfo so da hɔ black and white yɛ kyini bia ni ho sɛ amamra constitution no saa ne ma we nyina ɛma ho kwan sɛ akyame hinu ma bɛde akyiri no ebire bi eti sɛ na se yɛto aba wɔn so etimi ɛkyerɛ wɔn madwen ɛno na na da kwakufo ado ɛkyerɛ sɛ ebirepire wɔn a wate asie ne yɛnti asie tinkire nyina no wɔso no de ɔbɛgye dipa mampani so ɔbɛhwɛ sɛ wɔn nto wɔn bu ase ɛnkan amamra constitution no nkɔm bɛte asie nti sɛ unya adagye nkan ne yɛ di amampani se ka ho na kɔkɔhwɛ na pɛ kwan bɛfa so abɛkan na wobɛte asie no wɔkyerɛ sɛ Ghana ha obi ani hɔ a wɔboro mmara soro ɔno ankasa kora no ɔyɛ mampani no a otua wɔn ya no sɛbe ɔmoro mmara so sɛ bere no so sɛ mmara no wɔsi ade to baabi a wɔsi ade to a ɛnya adeɛ sɛ wɔboro so nti no ɛwɔsi ade to pɛpɛpɛ.
We're being told that the decision of the court amounts to judicial interference in the work of Parliament. I'm not quite sure that the people who are saying this have actually taken the time to read the Constitution of our country. It says so in black and white. The legislative power of Parliament that is vested of the state, which is vested in Parliament, is subject to the provisions of the Constitution. All organs of the Ghanaian state, including me as the head of the executive, we are all subject to the teachings of the Constitution. There's no body in the Ghanaian state that is above the fundamental law of the land. It would lead to the very matter that we have striven so long to avoid, the concentration of power, of unregulated power in our state. We don't want that. We've had that experience before, and we brought about this constitution in order not to allow that to reoccur. So I'm astonished about how much public energy has been wasted, I would say so with the greatest of respect, been wasted in an area, on an issue where there is so much clarity. And I'm happy that the court, and I'm sure as you're aware, the Supreme Court, when it is declaring the meaning of the Constitution, and it does so unanimously, that is the most emphatic way.
Now do go Akufo-Addo mampani asa to aso say Supreme Court efa no emra eni chechemu a omo ankasa ede ma ajagefo na eye so wonu to omo na temra se omo anso so na emra no ho no an omo chechemra nim ama kwabra na atumi atiase enu nti wo che se woko ebu America se English memu ni amama ya kese nim se etwa ye hu ahia no a omumum ene mra no ehye wonsa se be ye beboa mra hyebedwafo atumi ma o medi wo mdwuma yie wo mra hyebedwam.
To suggest that somehow or other the Parliament is beyond the scrutiny of the Supreme Court when issues of interpretation is to suggest that Parliament is a law in itself. The whole principle of judicial review was developed by the judges both in America and in England to be able to check the activities of Parliament. Indeed, in our own country, the first major constitutional case which looked at the work of Parliament was in the case Kase3 and the Attorney General, where the act of Parliament, the decision of the Parliament to subject the then Chief Justice, the late Frederick Kwesi Apalu, to a vetting process in Parliament, had been expressly forbidden by the Constitution. And that is the reason why Dr. Makutufo, the late Dr. Makutufo, unfortunately late, took the matter to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court made it quite clear that all the activities of all the institutions of our republic that impugn, that violate the Constitution are subject to the powers of the court and to the declarations of the court. Me, I want to repeat it, President, head of the executive, I am subject to the Constitution and to law.
That's as I want to cross Amrase. So no yaman penny. Bibiania, Mamma Constitution, one a bonina, a buying one may move to Onuka Humbia. When you went from Quabias, and I go for the Ghana penny, His Excellency, and I'm what 10 came.
Saa komoni nyina Dubai mem na wodi fridi aba na yefri ho na yenko yanim wonsem fufuru afei LGBTQ plus Z1 plus 2 plus 3 ho ahwan ni nsensem ni bebre hwanyan saa ne ma no mde ade afro manga na mu sabi ntrumuntu ni ntafrentafre ne fa ho ne ade no mu nsam ye daja o manga ne mpa mra kakra ye atwa mu yenim se de esi sore ye ene wo ma no kire se ma adwenkyere na mu chemienu se tu papa na de bufucho so abegina o ma no ko awdo sore mra se ojafu bi num te se ononyafo ye Sam Jata George num sore gigina mu se kwan bia so saade ende yempene nti wo se hyemra kete ade bra se yechiri ewo manga nam firi se emra bia no no a hye ne kete se saade ne yechiro manga nam ti obi asore ya no o maso a na so o twiniti himni dua ne ade ade nkakra nkra hwe so obetimi dia ba ne ade a na ye ga se wonuma tintim ade komra se jafie mu a kire se ye bill ewo parliament nti akase aja hye ne ntutu bibia be wie mu die ne bekoso na penfo timi age atum na ba ba emra na ne yakase efiri ne kure wo manga na sabi ntrumuntu ene fa wo gayism ne lesbianism ne transgender ne wanwan sa nyanya de ne achiwade ebokuro no man no ya busudie ya mra etia na enya enwie mudie no ene ko bi efro no OR foundation so abomoten akomra se odafiem na mra se odafiem badwako ya wonum ehwe amamra ene emra nsem so ya parliamentary select committee on constitutional and legal affairs wonum ade adesrade akoto wonum anim sa adawroma sa anti-LGBTQ plus bill no a yebeye no manga na mu no be ha adwen na ebenya nyadie ewo manga na yesikasem so ekuo no woni a wode koye OR foundation fo no mu baako ya onum di wonum adwen kire koye ni din Francis wo kire se wo manga na kura no saade no ayese yempe gayism ni lesbianism ni sa ne maniema no ade ayese yempe no sika yedie nyina nso firi saafo ne nkyɛn na ɛba amono ne ma wodo a wade wɔn wo bibidie ni ade no mu bua yɛn ɛwɔ sika sɛ mu yakodwo mu nkyɛn bosia ne ade no wonum gayfo ne ade ya nti sia ka sɛ yɛmpa ondwumadie ne yɛbɛbra ɛbɛma mu sika ne mu a wɔm de mayɛ no wɔm bɛtwe afiri mu a kyɛ sɛ wɔbɛtwe wɔn ho afiri ɔmanga na mu nti ɛkɔm de ne ɛnyɛ krado ɛbɛwi amemfi nyina bubu agusu nti yɛnhwɛ saa amra ne ɛde ba ne ye.
Chief among them the African Growth and Opportunities Act, or AGOA, which provides tariff incentives for exports to the United States of America. This would have a devastating negative economic impact for the country, causing losses to Ghanaian businesses of $720 million USD annually, which is the total estimated value of goods from Ghana that would lose preferential access to the American market should the bill be enacted. AGOA clearly stipulates that a nation is only qualified for preferential tariff status if the nation does not engage in gross violations of internationally recognized human rights. Section 104A.3. Considering the definitive analysis from the United Nations that describes the proposed legislation as a gross violation of basic human rights, the passage of this bill would trigger the suspension of Ghana's access to the AGOA agreement according to the language within Section 104 of the AGOA agreement. The proposed bill also threatens international loan agreements and aid packages with organizations such as the World Bank and USAID, among other major lending and donor institutions with human rights-based program requirements. It is important to contextualize the bill within global movements. Language in the bill is a carbon copy of language used by the World Congress of Families, a group which over 10 years ago worked with members of the Parliament of Uganda to pass.
Francis no wanya Ghana ni ona oteso no na wono nanu si ya no na OR Foundation ni ku no aja wonum adi wo madwen kira akomra se odwafie mafa anti LGBTQ+ bill no ehon no ekuo ni baba ko wonso wose wode Miss Tete na wonso kire se nyame anim efrimra wo ma no ye ho ha ye mpene ye mpa ye nyintum ni ade ye be pam ye be ko atia ni ade no aka wo bi ama enei nyumanwuma ahodo ya na wonum enya moade free saa gefo no nturumuntu ne ntafrentafrefo no wo mu kiro mu papa every say wonum mu ano wo ma jaye ma enti aka wo bi ama no kura no agriculture ho dwuma ene wodie kuadwuma no oyo enam saa bill no ya eba beba ni ade enti woni aboa no nyina akwasi buru maka se sponsors ne partners wo so onum nyina ja ma sei won kura ni dwumadie ni kuadwuma wo ye no ama ho kire aba ne so pa.
Existing as a business in Ghana, whatever our personal stance, we would be deemed in opposition to the European human rights standards. Additionally, European institutions operating in Ghana would stand the chance of being declared illegal here in Ghana if they provided assistance to us and we had taken a stance against the bill and or engaged in action that criminalizes. This would be disastrous for us. For some context, in the past 3 years alone, we have received support from the German Import Promotion Desk, SNV Hortefresh, a Dutch program, and GIZ Agribusiness, a program from the German Development Agency, and are in the process of applying to the German Develop program to gain 100,000 euros in funding for an export-oriented facility to be situated in the eastern region of Ghana that would create 50+ local jobs in a rural community. And from these different agencies, we have received hundreds of hours of technical assistance and training, and over 50,000 euros in direct and indirect financing. For comparison, we are yet to receive any form of direct assistance from the Ghanaian government. Business is hard. Agribusiness is very hard. We would not be where we are today without the assistance we have had from these members of the European Union. We would love to see a world where Ghana and all Ghanaians can exist beyond aid. But in the context of global capitalism, we need to be able to access all opportunities available to us and engage in international trade with intention and agency. People have many times asked why an agribusiness producing dried fruit is called Pure and Just Company. I answered that it is because we have a determined commitment not only to nourishing the body and moving the country forward, but also to being responsible and engaged citizens who work to ensure the freedom of access, freedom of expression, and freedom of existence for every single member of our national community.
And Mr. Tendete Facebook Live so radio bashe eja nyeso obi chiro bi ase anase nenso wesi abobo ni nsumu na wabo ne hwene ano de asomade ahye ho ne somade ahye no ne nkawa ahye no a tin say yes timi mu ba bi ofiri ba na wono so na no si ye na kokokua ni bi ya ne din ni Owura Fred Osu wonso sori na ochirim se hwe saa de no mpusu de ba no na yensuso mu so kura emra ne kura mrantem na mebra de no yebewu ayengu ekombe wie ni a anwie nyame obo ye no onim kwani obefa so ahwe.
It is necessary, first and foremost, to endeavor to trace the trajectory of the LGBT concept from the very inception to its current practice. and follow it up from there to the time the concept would have been fully consummated. The advocates of the LGBT have indicated that the court did not originate from here. However, according to them, its antecedent prototype was an exclusive friendly relationship found amongst some few female students in our schools nearly 100 years ago. According to the LGBT advocates, that practice has now crystallized into marriage. So without continuing from there, to show the ultimate logical end of the trajectory of the LGBT marriage, they ended by saying that their clients are only pursuing their fundamental human rights, the right to self-determination and freedom of association. We want to put it to them that the ultimate end of the trajectory of the LGBT marriages is the destruction of the entire human race. And so we will not allow them to succeed. In a worst case scenario, it connotes a movement to annihilate all Africans by the year 2222 AD. If the tempo of the current LGBT crusade continues unhindered in Africa.
Yo, enti kwiani awono so tutu ntuma egogo piemu ewo bedekuo no animu no so de na de srede atu dwa akoko fa mo Alfred osu ana yate ne nka wo chirim se sa ade ne yabusudia ya tantade anwunwu sam ne asefem sam yemfa mra ne kura mrantem na yemfa mra metia.
Njaba tanu e friend National Entrepreneurship and Innovative Program womo ene Canada man susuko bia e sha bayase o maka bom na o medudumadi sonko pa de amamma ma ko be se dunan bi a wanya so mfaso ewo o mayemu na sika wodane de ma mai se wonye no fam wasene na wonfa nkodi wo mudwuma enhwe enya dwuma entintim won wankasa enwuma ne ade no eye Canada wo mo dollar no we enya America de bia Canada de wo fam kakra eye $5,000 Canadian dollars na busuafo se de esi atie no unsa ye wo mo a wo mo gentete ewo aban no ne fa baabi mu a ye frɛ no Tibet na kyerɛ Tibet no ye ma won tete na wankasa aboa wo etimi amwa akwa tintim ho adwuma yom ne ade enti we na akwa ye ma saa no women in Tibet business pitch competition a Kase3 6Pm enkran ena ekoba asesa ne ma ya mabobo suo nyina no penifo no emma sa ni pedunan no sika so mo fa nkwa adwuma de tiense maame Abigail Swat Lai wono na ye pani abedi akire emma National Entrepreneurship and Innovative Program nhyehyɛ no ena wo kyerɛ sɛ brand no betae adi sa adwumadi no na ebebua soso pa ahyehyɛ ma no ntitiro ntitiafam omo so kɔmɔntin so makotinti wo mo ho ewo nwumam na no atumi aboa mani kura ma dodo no anu a eni nwumayɛ ewo mayi mu no ɛso atumi atepa no kyerɛ no wo ka sɛ enche you start program no so eba na no so ebeboa be man tete entrepreneurs no ebebu so na yenya sa entrepreneurs no kura no be se opepe bako 1 million de ebe man kwa wo mayi mu.
Any program now, of course, no, about my permission because this week, World Women's International Women's Celebration Day. There's no better time in a for program way. Yenya Japan, man on mobile, so my bomb, they much stress or bar, the beard bashing in Simubia, few Jumo with me, and see, can't say an India, Naya, Yenya Japan, Papa, I expect to say, next French name, Papa, no so, ever could you say. When you see, yenja musa nep de ye ma usika yenja o se fas kan ko fi na kotna so we make sure say be keep in touch training be da so akoso monitoring be koso and as almost an hia mo bi so asise ke bi mo hia kan so I be sure say be come on, but training and monitoring the be constant.
So after this in life,
after this we Baba share Jumedi and Kasankasa abind their share semu yeah well you start Jumakesia Baba start ama entrepreneurs I be create 1 million jobs in the next 3 years. And so any immediate ones I be but your programs I start to say PMed, P-Word, entrepreneurship programs Emma Omomi did them and so be baso this on this year.
Ewra Abigail Swatlai and Moten Wenkano na nyina mu ababawa wodi nkunim wo women in Tibet business pitch competition yemu ne Elizabeth Mchi kire se ne nia sopa ono ankasa hunu modem mu a wabo de Awurade ase na emu musika ne nsa aka no ono so edi kotintim ne ho adwuma mu na wafa afoforo amonte TV.
For 3 months no. In fact, I'm making a whole lot I'm making impact bebre I will be move. But me pani dey na me ni that's what I mean I'm and so with the help and the work that I do obia or supporting me I'm really bia me domu ina se sisi a merini ska we there me go back to me community because me who say nkofo bebre no munya kwenya ekokrome kosua dia omo go back to omo community inti de bia no community ni changes bia mba ho be saska we ya menya no ebetimi aboa me na makomi community akosset business e wo honom net me make impact e wo young women and girls and boys there.
Elizabeth Anchina Moten Wenkano we pan report 7 FM Kase no anwumre no sia de iguso ade somo yakuanima.
Ya ura NPP sungogro kwa manyuku eshirodo ensam emusabre kasai osunu no sedi enim no sese ni tirimo ayden papa na bufushi aba amen ya nyagorokora wo 29 de one man yam say cho ya wosunu no wo tietia ne man yam papa ne abato mbesu ado obi so obeti o zia hima obi sum obi nsu ya fa podi ba pa ne mama so say wa ebinum so kura akoto paint ya NPP office wonu akoto paint no ndc for colors ya kire aye nsem bebre ye wa amanyuku num ni nyina ye wonu abato mbeso ya ne abato obi awdo ya kire polling station executives elections koso no emu nsem ne ade aneno na emu ba ko a ne de kire se ensem aye fom na abato mbeso ya so NPP sungogo kwa amanyuku achitafo binum ebo modern de abufuo ne akomahye ekokoto paint pa ndc fo de ni bi omuto ituntum na omuto abamuno green ana wonum de ayi ba kono eka ho white eka ho enkura de se wo mu de num dada ndi wo mu koye NPP party office no ana efimu akama ana wo mu sha ase so mu penti na elections no any forms ne fa kwaso de ade ne niam bi omunti mu wasinti no wo mu se na yesei party office no mbeda no NDC party office fi so mu nyina akoro jai kwa NDC na wonu omu penti ba ko gina nche ose osono ne kura na no ye mahin no osono ne kura na mbuafu no you of tunu ni free ho nti omu penti no NDC Kales na aja ade chin ye na wonu former chairman akwasi nti a yeso form na Mugabe obo modern etu anamon kokoto penti ma onisa akoko penti ne foforo na no na oru ajon bodu NPP sungoguru kwa manyuku mamu nyina wonu nchirofo pani no wose ne akoso wo fomena no NPP amanyuku no mpanifo efa na se mu papa no mu fa ni agronti animanu ya wonum etu abadwaku ya obehwehwemu woni a edi sa adwuma no eko penti NPP party office NDC Kales no wonum ye nhwemu asotwe esefata obi abegene de
bi aka asema enya no kre na party for di asema enya no kre so edi akoti isemu e o constituency to the extent say yeah party office now wako paint party office no with another colors of some other political parties. And normally the other party they investigation here say be na omo ko yes no ya twa maso ye be twa maso they don't be from rapanso because enko ba the same omo ga say omo go paint we grass say yes party office go omo ba ka bra ba be yes party office let's asema ba who are party structures who are regional parties who are national parties eba ya mo go di who go with it and na ma hwehwe mo plan bisa say eye na from in a constituency mo be nomination na mo di akoma independent candidates obi a independent candidate ye nomination ọmọ fire form pẹ ẹ wọ sẹ parliament yẹ tún ní sign nti ẹn kò sí dà sẹ yà kó bíye nomination ní ẹ de forms akọma independent candidate ẹ yẹ no credit yẹ bíye nomination ọ̀fọ̀ mi na in due course ibi atoto yẹ náà ọ sí bíye nomination ọ̀fọ̀ mi na yẹ bẹ bíye nomination na party fo a ọmọ ẹ yẹ adesiẹ ẹ wọ party ni mu no ọmọ ẹ nya ho kwan yẹ ọmọ pẹ sẹ ọmọ contest police station elections.
Okay, owura John ni ate nka na wa kire se abato mbasu ahodo a ensensem wo mu ya woni a yede onum tuatuaye abato no anu se wonum hwema bibia enko tote ne nei ya tretrensa e wonum so wonum ya age wono kwadin e wo penche ye koso NPP amanyuko no emu ye kire election committee members bia ene wo mu credibility ato nsuo mu ama binum su se wo ya bu onum afaso asisi wonum ene ade no saafo nyina so wonum eba abaye nhwemu wo ne sensan bi wonum so ya obeye.
It is also worth making the point that the national executives have also been holding meetings with the members of the polling station election committees and MPs in constituencies where there are issues which have been brought to our attention with a view to resolving same. Where it was established that members of the election committee had not acquitted themselves as required by the rules and regulations, the party is holding them accountable, and in some cases we have directed a complete overhaul of the committee ahead of the electoral area coordinators election. In some of the constituencies that we recognize that there are challenges, in some cases we've held on. There are about 3 constituencies in the central region that we've held on. There are some 4 constituencies, 2 constituencies in Upper West, and a few constituencies in the Ashanti region, some few ones in Eastern region that we've held on. You understand? So these are the processes that we are going through, and there are some of them that we've been able to bring them on the table for us to resolve, and they've gone back to do their work. You see, the challenge we are having is that the moment there is a little altercations, now that we have the social media platforms available, the pictures and the videos are taken, splash it out there. Maybe days after or even minutes after the issue is resolved, nobody takes those pictures after the issue has been resolved and send it out there. So it is in the minds of people that the party is implosion, the party is in disarray and all that. I can assure you, and it is instructive to make that the point, that much as we observe some pockets of disturbances and ugly scenes.
Yo na ni nyina wodi si ya no na ose sese o ma sua bibi o mu forms no o mu de kwa akogu NPP website na o ma buru o mu hu awie ese o ma bre ti wo a wo performs ni bi no sese de enkoye me ko office ma nya bi ni ho ahwan ne ma abo ne ade no ye de kogu website nti se o person ko fa bia ja ko website wa na wa ko fa bi na ma abo no emra na wiye.
As earlier published by the party, electoral area coordinators elections shall be held from 18th of March to 20th of March 2022. At this phase of the internal elections, the party, in order to increase access to nominations, has resolved to upload the forms for the electoral area coordinators elections on the party's website for interested members to download for free. Forms can be downloaded through the link newpatriotic.org/MPP-form. So you go to our website. When you go to where the forms are available for download. But in addition to that, we are sending 5 hard copies per electoral area to the polling station elections committee. Those are election of just one electoral area coordinator. So we are sending as many as 5 nomination forms to them. If for any reason you were unable to reach out to the polling station elections committee, or for whatever reasons, you can still download the forms on our website for you to be able to fill and return or submit the form. It is at the point of submission of the forms that you pay the 50 cedis nomination fee to the elections committee.
And the police station executives in the end, Yamama Brumu, Nemum electoral area coordinators in the Yamama Murumo. I know the Adibako website. Now, our pen one and sent in Tampa, the NPP Akurayim, Wakuyi, Odia, and Aswako forms in Buonu. Now, what fair you know, Naja, what you see the 50 Ghana cities at the Yama election committee, no, until Ura, John, Boadu, NPP, Amanukuma, Munina, Unintro for penny, Nenenia TA.
Afe Yamrai, Kumase Swame, any Baby Generation for. Na emani bia wo mo eye dwadifo patemu ho na sabro mo kasa no omo city guard fo brane no maba ne o mabeje jo mo niema o maba no mabeje jo mo niema ya o maka kire Kumase perifo se be ya nkomrem na nsuso ayehwe buara na nne pa pani behwe wa ire pass ya wa ire pa fm ha abusafo se woni enso ka kire kura wo ma no wo magi jase yi no na o mo no ire pa kase edi nkomo
so me akoye ye ni sika ye kwaje ababu se na kotu tontosi ka de ba ye ni yanchero ye ni ye koto me du ba tono e ma no kwaso fo ma no koyi aduasa wo mo cheka na ye ni taje kwaje ababu se 10 million kotu tontosi me nu e ba to de no anu ni e ba chi abu e na me ma me abro mo de mfia e wa ya kopa wa ya abu na papa ya pesa panifo ne bo ya run about one. Ya hutu ya. Neje ikuta sika me minute 10 million minute. So me run about. Minute 10 million minute 12 million me ko to ada. Eti me 3 million na se me ko yi boss mu ni ma mu si boss ni ma. Just don't leave me about time. Ani ba ye na to kwa do to nya do. Obi ba ye na to ma se kwa na shiga te mama kwa na hospital. Ogu bi o ma se atina tu. Ene me obi otite ha. Wo ka te oni mu shiri oni mu bi pa. Wo ya wo ke wo boa. Ene o ma ba. Ene so ma sa ba. Ogo muso what on tiro to boko ogo na kompa waya ne dia bro ani enwa bra na mbada go to no mu tu entos bu mu se ya e friend of course wani ma le so suman wonu ana ba yes
sasa no ya bebo sa na wotwe dia juzu da bia be kwa me abo da bia sa na wotwe ene ne chese anu no ade pa na abasahere so na kanini no awo so amrana about da adwumefo no anu a na se adwudifo no anu a de so bo no se wono na hihye kire ya gya mansula se da bi adwudifo no aso odin entina ha na nkwa so oboko enyina ha no wa so ho unyina ho na nso we de ba bi e ka so mo ntina na mo nyina eni dwa no ehwa a na mo pe enu ntina ko wiesa
yema ye no mo ye adwuma ya hihye wo kon ne no ya kokyina no obi kon na wo betwe amana duru no so no afa bi no wo de akosie na nkole ya akofa enu ye frɛ no connection enu ne ye huna ye mpene ye season ya ma na wo mo se nura wo mo ne de foforo bi akɔ minnim sɛ ye hwan sɛ ye hwan minnim ana mo de frɛ me ntime mu wo mo da me ma no wo mo ye na nya tia na metia wo de mo ye mo nya mo ye sɛ bi mo do hu de me de be mo me ntine me nsa wo so da me nye obi bibia
ne sɛ wa kan sɛ no ka sɛ kan sɛ mo ne ma
da bi me nko yes sa bet me nko me na ko
nti sɛ dia na wo ka kyerɛ wo because ebufo ne da so
bia ni mraso mra ya hye wo adwuma no adwuma de e wo ho na mra ni wa sɛ ne enye adwuma ɛna ba bi wo ho na mra ni ho a enye ba bi nti a chopa me de be pa o me sɛ obi ani mra no so ye obi bi na enye wo da so a bra beka ye de betu be bi da ne dia
German sula no oso obi ani mra so menyina nya sa de be bom sa na wotwe se de ye bom no aka cha ko toothpaste de je bo na bia mo ja frisim ba ndi juju na ko kama pa ka cha ko no toothpaste obi ase ebua ye bi fa ko fi wate na mwa o ya se na ba center for so de ja woni tua wo munwuma no a omo yesisi na hwani wo munwani bi ti se yaksen besha mo bobi tu malaria se kwa na natural capsules no dia aba bema me se ebe se poti den kama enya berego biem obi won mo di pincha ya na dia be ya ye no so ati aze wo sa no akoma babbo se de wonam kiti na abuafu yasin ko ka so tutu ko kwase no tutu ato STDC ni nyina be ko apidan kolnak na ne ba mi sie ba Fredmans and PFA pharmacy tafo 0244723541 0244831559
o ka asem na me ka bro bi odin na ko hospital na doctor ni eburuni na akura no yare ne nte brofo na onana ba no odin ko nso nte brofo na doctor mbisa akura say what's wrong with you afi abranto sheburu ndim sa akura ntimi nya no say kuwu ka ha mfimfimfe moja punkum wa ono ase akoso ya doctor si onko chira ni aba kese ne nana no obo wa ne moja wo di kuwu ka ha mfimfimfe moja moja punkum wa
profundo chira kutwi
sebo ebo moja banka ni ya celebra baji bi chandeliers corner light wall light gate light garden light CCTV cables in the cameras no ba cho brabaji bi obosha banchen chandelier corner light wall light gate light no ya boss standing fan ceiling fan brand bi ape bi pa cho na wo penkania odi bebo fie ne wa so dem no atena yi ama ho ma kama pa wo be sere ne a bosha banchen no so obaji bi brabaji ne ma papa electrical cables no ne emfa jahye emma standard one no standard authority for ajatum ye wadum PZ na mi atako for dem sanso a na oba bosha ba plaza Wesley Methodist in Central Bridge roundabout Iswa and so near my papa no busu ha yankwa dum kitchen teams world to dine Republic Bank dine when him share 0541 1253339 0541 1253339 boss about electric as in kania penifie no na ya pa admission ni gusu ya ekoso admission no Kenama schools na wase yanka ncho se tumirika na bra wo de fa ba ne bra unya de ne ba beto Kenama school ni mu a oba no be pass pa ba cho wo de go so mem kwan so ho na Kenama schools no ewo na wase wo de oba no se wo person ye general art general science have technical and agriculture general agriculture any home economics ni business ni visual art pa cho fa ne bra na Kenama wonye no onchiro ba no ade won na kire abayu akuma bia no adi frinshadu miensa pe ade ma wo twa so twa ma ne bro so ko KUST kwaya mathematics no ba cho Kenama school no asem ne kan wa kama ba bia school no wo no o ma bo ho ban na wo ma didiem no wo na ye bibia kama papa oba no wo asumdie kwasi bro ka se serene environment a o de sua de conducive ama abofra no watimi atwa ne social no aba beto anwasua so nti fa ne ko ye ka se wo so person be media we natural bishim ni ade a ni nyina wo ye ho adwuma wo je form 1 ne form 2 form 3 so wa person be fracture exams no eno so bo modern na ebro ma akwanya no wo be fracture exams no school mo no a GS approved center na say WAEC approved center and school no GS adiatum bibia ya kama nti Kenama schools friend 0246 445037 0246 445037 na wanyo so na oba no fanako na onkotoa ne ngumesua so
abjafo ya disubiri nyina yesi baby ya yani asori akọ na ya fasida makoria one se mu na nwumire ma ya ma isibu amasa nso so na Rebecca na Priscilla omunyina bo enachi edom kozu enhira ba munyina etachi ene enwumire mu akeka fo ya besom mu eye krobia asante menimenu
social distance ambassador of Ata Frimpong
nkai bo kakra ho yin kai bo yemfa emma mo na yen so na yim awre abebiu eye toase hene na natia yipa so na adwoa chewa tosumienu toase hema no na ochere ka career pew tosumienu mpaseti ahene na wutibu atia kenten tosumienu eye toase nifa hene na ya owusu enso enyinasa abusua pani eno no oni abaka te say his lordship justice enin yeboa ono your main team for penny chief justice owura sam enin yeboa enso enkane no district coordinating director ewukumasi